Okay, 6:30. How's everybody this morning? Doing well? Excellent. Can't believe Friday came so quick this week. All right, so this week's code of conduct is strive for restraint, discretion, and integrity. It's really, really good behavior points there, something to really focus on. Especially the restraint and discretion can be challenging at times, but if you just stop and think for a minute before you act on something, it goes a long way. So safety news, where we're at is another 7 days without a recordable. So excellent job. We also got through the holidays without any break-ins. So I think it's the first time in like 3 years. So excellent job with site security over the long weekend. So let's keep it going. Again, it's all about knowing the hazards, identifying the hazards, and putting some type of control. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Just in conclusion, just kind of wrapping up our fall series, going into the construction season, is the last, other than the guardrails that we talked about last week, is our personal fall arrest systems. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is just the A, B, and C's of a personal fall arrest system, the anchor points, the body harness, and the connectors. We've tried to simplify this down as much as possible with what we purchase. There's a million different styles out there when it comes to personal fall arrest system. This is a good system. It will protect you. However, you are going to fall. All right, you are going to actually drop at a height. So guardrail system prevents that from actually happening. A personal fall arrest system, you are physically going to fall, and you're relying on the equipment to save you. So the system will hopefully arrest your fall safely with only about 800 pounds of force on your body. That's kind of what the standard is, the national standard, to hopefully arrest your fall with only about 800 pounds of force on the body. And then we're going to quickly talk about the rescue plan, because what we're going to do is once you fall and then arrest your fall, how are you going to safely get back onto your feet? You can't just sit there and dangle from time to time. So when we're talking about a personal fall arrest system, one of the biggest things is your anchor point. All right. When you have this system, you really need to make sure you're double checking to making sure that your anchorage is 5,000 pounds. And these are all the different things that we have here in stock in the tool crib for all different applications. This is a concrete anchor here. We can put them in waste blocks, jersey barriers, any concrete deck, anything like that. Easy to install. We're using them in Orleans now. It's a good system. It's working well for them. Here's a beam strap, something that you can drop around an I-beam, anything like that, to help get yourself a good anchor point. And here's a slide for H-beams, I-beams. And here's for roofs. Anytime we're working on a roof, you nail those down. We use these a lot on the Nokian roof. These are all good anchor systems that are reusable. You can move them from where you need to go. It's a good tie-off point. Again, when in doubt, ask the question, is this a safe anchorage point? Because you're relying on this system to arrest your fall. What we don't want to do out there is just not think about our anchorage points, fall, and then this thing removed from our system, and then you're falling to a floor below and could potentially really hurt yourself.
On the anchorage to a waste block,
yep.
If the block is part of a wall,
yep,
we have to talk about it and analyze it first. If
yes.
Waste block, like sitting beyond a fall surface, then I think it'd be all right, but we should check that.
Yeah, definitely get with engineer, and we'll have to take a good hard look at making sure that's a good anchorage point for those projects. I agree. And that's all comes with a good fall protection plan.
Right.
So then that's their A. The A is our anchorage point. Very, very important. We should always be asking, what's my anchorage point? Is it safe? Let's double check that stuff. Get with, engineering, get with safety. We'll make that determination to making sure. And then the B is the body harness. All right. Biggest thing with these things, it's really, again, this life-saving equipment. We want to make sure we are inspecting these things. On the tab itself, you open it up. It'll say like when it was manufactured. These things are good for roughly about 5 years. Any cuts, any abrasions at all in the synthetic webbing, we should take these things out of service. Sometimes with torch work, hot work welding, you might see some burn holes. We should be taking these things out. Again, it's life-saving equipment. We're relying on this equipment to arrest our fall if we do fall. And then storage. We should be storing these, hopefully not in the back of our pickups. We should be storing them inside our tool trailers, bringing them back to the tool crib where we can store them vertically, hang them away from any cuts or abrasions, things like that. So it's very important that we take our time and store these properly away from any cuts or abrasions. And then the last is our connector. We've kind of really simplified this down for everything because there's a lot of different connectors out there. So these are mostly what we have here for you guys. And one of the reasons why we're using SRL, self-retracting lanyards, is because it's really you're only going to have about a 2-foot drop. It's gonna engage really quickly if something happens. And there's also some other really good safety factors in there as well. Sometimes we're seeing is we do a lot of leading edge work, so that's why we purchased these these Nano-Lock Edge. Those are designed for leading edge types of applications, and again, it will slow your forces on your bottom down to actually only 600 pounds per force. So the chance of an injury from an arrest goes down dramatically. And these are just our socket Georgian lanyards that we use a lot of times in our aerial lifts. We'll use these, but again, we try not to have our maximum fall distance more than 6 feet if we can. Some of the lanyards that you buy over the, if you go to Ace Hardware or Home Depot, some of those lanyards that you might buy, those are actually for like being tied off 18 feet above. So you have to be really careful. The lanyard that you're using will stop you in that free distance of the fall. So there's a lot that goes into a personal fall arrest system, not just put a harness on, lanyard, and find an anchor point and you're good. We have to really think about it before we actually get into this type of protection. So it's really wanted to harp in today is inspection, storage, and really before you jump into a project, we should have that conversation. We should have that idea of, is this the right system for this type of project that we're working on to eliminate the falls, because each job's a little bit different. The falls are going to be a little different. We need to kind of hone in the material that make sure that you guys are going to be safe if something does happen. And then the last is that rescue plan. Anytime we're in a personal fall arrest system, we need to have a rescue. It could be a ladder, it could be an aerial lift. There's all different types of things. We could use kind of our confined space equipment with a hoist, anything to get the guy safely back on his feet or lower him down to the ground, vice versa. So it's very important that we think about this when we throw this type of protection on our projects. So over the last couple of years, we've done a lot of different work. So here's our aerial lifts, and here's kind of working on bridges. It's mostly, these are the types of projects that we get involved with a personal fall arrest system. So it's very, very, we've done a really good job, but it takes a lot of communication, a lot of planning, pre-planning to making sure that we're using the right tools for the job when it comes to eliminating the fall hazards out there. So let's keep up the good work. Let's really try to prevent the falls. Like I said before, if you didn't get a sticker, I got plenty here. Our goal is, we jumped in with OSHA and the AGC of Vermont to try to hopefully really eliminate the falls. It's the #1 leading fatality in the United States is guys, workers, American workers falling from heights. So let's really have that focus this construction year. That we're going to use a guardrail system. If we can't, let's use a personal fall arrest system. But let's really think that through before we just come in here, grab a harness, grab a lanyard. Let's make sure that's the right tools for the job. So with that said, that's all I have. Is there any questions when it comes to personal fall arrest system? No?
One comment, Matt.
Yep. Go Ken. Or Ben, sorry.
That guy that got killed up there at UBM was in transit. He had his harness, he had all his stuff on, but he was moving.
Yep.
So one of the vulnerable times that we have is when we're not hooked up yet and we're moving to another spot.
Right.
To really think about that.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Yep. So we have a quick thing on foundation. Joe is going to highlight something for us.
Just real quick for this week, Monday was a holiday, right? So it's been a few months, I think, since we had the last holiday. So make sure everyone gets time cards in for Monday. They all go to job 14. Remember, so that's one of the overhead jobs, and it says that's the same job that all of your time off goes to, whether ATO or no ATO. So job 14, there's only one cost code in there, so select that cost code OH14, which stands for overhead, and then earn code HOL, holiday. Make sure those are the three key items for all of Monday's time for all the employees. Everybody is entitled to that. And then with the new application that we're all using, there's still some funny things going on, and we appreciate everyone's patience and everyone kind of feeding us information so we can feed it back to the software company and get things fixed. But watch for double time card entries. When you click save or you click submit for those time cards or the equipment or anything else, just give it a second. Don't try to, if it doesn't react right away, just hold on a second and then it should register. So I know we've got some people who click submit and it doesn't do anything for 2 or 3 seconds, and then they click submit again, and then all of a sudden you don't even realize it. Everything's duplicated. In some cases, we've had 4 times the entries, which then makes it difficult to delete after the fact.
So it will not recognize doubles.
They will.
We have to look for them.
It doesn't recognize it by itself. No, we have to look for them. So usually people are seeing them when they go back and look at their submitted time reports or their daily logs is when we're seeing them, whether it be you looking at your own time or us looking at the time during the approval process. So it's happening. It was happening before, but it's happening a little bit more right now with the new system changeover. So just be mindful of that. Use that submitted time log or submitted time report to check your time and the people's time that you're helping enter in. Any questions or any open issues or anything? Just come and see myself or Justin or Matt or Ben, and you can keep getting things resolved. Okay. Did it go to job 14? So I'll double check it. All right. And then thanks for hanging in there. It's been, a lot of the issues that we've been having, we've been bringing them up to the software company directly, and I feel like we're having some challenges, but at the same time, we're challenging the software company more than any other contractor out there, which I think is at least knows that we're using the tool and abusing the tool and making sure we get the most out of it. So I think that's, for all the frustration, it's also a positive. So thank you.
All right, so Falls, let me get that out of there. So announcements, Morgan Stanley will be here next Friday, June 7th, to meet with our new enrollees in the 401 program. Anyone currently on the plan that would like to meet with them, contact Sarah. She's 264-2262. Or you can email her. And then next Tuesday, PT360 will be back. If there's anyone that needs joining our wellness series or have any aches and pains or any other stress-related issues, there's a lot of services that they can provide. She was here a couple weeks ago, just kind of talked about what they can provide to us. So take advantage from about 3:15 to 4:30. We kind of try to do 20-minute blocks. So take advantage. Ben, are you talking about the project, McKinney? We're going to highlight the Pittsford Proctor Rail Bridge that we're currently doing.
Morning.
Good morning.
So we're contracted with VTrans to rehab Bridge 220 and 207 on the VTR in the towns of Pittsford and Proctor. The main goal of the project is to strengthen the existing bridges so they can take 286 kip car loading, which is a higher standard, higher weight of train traffic. So our work includes top and bottom cover plates on the through girder spans. These cover plates get bolted to the tops of these existing girders. The existing girders are built up with plate and angle members and all riveted together. It's early 1900s construction. So bolting up the new plates requires drilling these plates to the exact hole pattern of the existing rivets. Small plates, we can remove the existing rivets and match drill the small plates and bolt them up. However, the large plates that have too many bolts to field drill, we've got to template shop drill and fasten them all at once in between trains. The largest cover plates we have for Bridge 220 here are 36 feet long. So that represents a solid top and bottom cover plate with a splice in the middle, total of 72 feet. And just the 36-foot section has over 264 fasteners each. Project-wide between the two bridges, we have over 4,000 rivets to remove and replace.
4,000.
Over 4,000, yep. So in addition to the strengthening scope, we've got 12 bearings to replace, 4 at the two-span bridge at each of the two spans in Pittsford and 4 in Proctor. And some minor concrete rehab. There's Bridge 220 there, early spring, just getting started. The project got delayed by a couple weeks due to really high water in the Otter Creek, abnormally high, and for a long time. You can see it has dropped down low enough to get our staging in, but just barely. A good example of a handrail, not relying on fall arrest, but protecting that fall hazard with a handrail. The staging in progress. Here are the guys last week replacing bottom flange rivets. So you can see all these existing rivets here are getting burnt and punched out and replaced with a temporary bolt. And so in this case, what we'll do is once we get an entire section bolted up, we'll then clamp the existing construction together so we don't lose the pattern and it doesn't fall. And then we'll swing in and we'll put in lead gauge templating, center punch it, pull the templating out, send it to the fabricator so it can be drilled. Obviously, not much tolerance there in the drilling. And that's the steel after blast cleaning, so it was all lead paint. So we have a lead abatement contractor on site now. Blast cleaning to a near white metal surface, and that's what it looks like. So we get in there once it's free of lead and proceed with our work.
And will they put a coating on the top of it after?
Good question, Matt. There's an interim coating so that not only are they abating lead, but they're also achieving a surface prep. You know, the way these steel connections are designed isn't for the bolts to take any shear, but it's to clamp the pieces together. So it's actually the friction between the steel plies that transfers that load. So immediately after blasting, our abatement contractor is spraying an oily type substance that's designed to maintain that surface prep for up to a year so it doesn't flash rust, which we then have to wash off before putting our steel on. And we also have to reapply after burning rivets out because obviously we lose it. But the new plates are going to be weathering steel, so there will be no paint or protective coating on our new work. Photo from the archive. Location unknown, date unknown, looks like a stealth tree or a stealth tower.
I don't recognize it. Maybe
Originally, I thought it was Bobat, but the backboards are wrong, so I'm thinking
maybe Norwich.
that's
or
Norwich.
That Verizon cell tower?
Yes, it is.
They're not making them through the trees anymore.
Yeah, that's
No,
the
we're waiting
latest
for the
one.
tree to fall on it first.
Okay, good. Well, have a safe day out there.
Yeah, good weekend.
I know.
Thanks, Matt.
10 hour. See you next week, buddy.